Fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, and prophecy. Fair use permitted by the 1976 Act, right? And prophecy. That's what we're doing. We're doing the fair uses for prophecy, all right? Nothing more, nothing less. This is what we do without any interference. So, without further ado, let's give all praises and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and to His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, Salaki, double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, as always, the apostles, my elders, my teachers, and shalom to the hopeful elect, brothers and sisters, the true children of Israel, the elect that are scattered to the four corners of the world. As we always tell you, right? This ain't a black thing. This is an Israelite elect thing. This is about the elect of the children of Israel. This is about the fulfillment of prophecy. Because everything that we are doing, it's about the fulfillment of prophecy. It's like anything, right? If you see a house burning, right? If your house is burning down and you're in your bed sleeping and your neighbor's just coming in, he's awake, he sees your house burning, ain't he gonna knock on your door and say, look, Fred, Mildred, your house is burning. Get out and get the kids out now. He's not going to watch your house burn down while you're in there, right? He's going to warn you. He's going to say, look, you need to get out now. Well, that's what we do. We're here to warn you of what's to come, all right? That's all we're doing, warning you about what's to come to get yourself right with the Lord. If you're an Israelite, doesn't matter what color you look like. If you're an Israelite, if you're of the elect, if you're able to receive this word, this true word in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, then you're more likely an Israelite, and you're more likely of the elect. All right? And this is what it's about. It's about prophecy. And that's all everyone's talking about. That's all the news, what they call it, the news wires. It's just high in prophecy everywhere. So anyway, this brother here, I know the elder brother from the Vegas camp, calls him Skeletor, and I thought it was a really good name for him. He does look like Skeletor, and I remember Skeletor, but those are the cartoons that I grew up watching, right? Mr. Something of the Universe, I forget what it was called. All right, but anyway, I want to listen to what he says here. All right, Russia struck not Kiev, but Lviv, which is on the western border, right, of Ukraine, right, which borders with Poland, right? Lviv is a city, it's the biggest city on the western border that borders with Poland. So Russia hit them with their Orishnik missiles, right? Their IRBMs, something else. I forgot what the R stands for. Ballistic missiles, right? Last night. It's the Orishnik, which you can load with nuclear warheads, right? And it works the same way as the ICBM. It has multiple warheads. So they hit Lviv, which is the second biggest city in Ukraine last night with it, right? And they took out so much, right? So I wanted to hear what he says here regarding what took place last night, because I'm telling you, the spirit is truly jumping on these Edomites, right, to start saying some things that are so true that it's like he said it, doesn't even realize what he said it, but you're going to see what he says here, right? As it's part of it's in the title. It's what you read in the Bible about the end times, and if this hits America, we will be done, all right? Those are his exact words, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth, right? So without further ado, let's just hit play.
Now, guys, this isn't the only news that's on the chopping block, okay? Russia, and let me show you this. Russia just struck Ukraine with not an intercontinental ballistic missile, but an intermediate range missile. Guys, these are the ones that look like the projectiles are coming out of a portal in the sky. What you watch with these missile systems is very close to what Christians read in the Bible about the end times and what comes, because they talk about these things coming out of the sky. They talk about the widespread destruction that is caused. Now, I'm more...
You hear that? Let me play that back again and I'll continue playing it. All right. You see, the spirit is moving around. The spirit is moving around these Edomites, boy, and they're just saying things that are prophetically true. All right, whether they know it or not. Well, obviously he does, because he's telling you. He's telling you it's from what he's seeing is like what has been read from the Bible. We play this again.
Out of a portal that look like but an intermediate range missile, guys. These are the ones that look like the projectiles are coming out of a portal in the sky. What you watch with these missile systems is very close to what Christians read in the Bible about the end times and what comes, because they talk about these things coming out of the sky. They talk about the widespread destruction that is caused. Now,
He's talking, right? So obviously, just quickly bring the scripture up, right? We're going to continue listening to what the rest of he says here. All right. It's Revelations. Is it chapter 6 or 8? I know it's in 8 as well. I'm just going to get it. Revelations 6. And I know it's in Revelations. So this is it here. And I know it's Revelations 8 as well. All right. So Revelation 6, all right? It says, we start at verse 12, all right? Revelations chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of the hair, and the moon became as blood, all right? And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth. So the stars of heaven, they what symbolically represent the intercontinental ballistic missiles, right? And also the intermediate range ballistic missiles, right? Like the Orishnik. The stars of heaven fell on the earth. This is what this is talking about, missiles. And even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heavens departed as a scroll. All right, that's your mushroom cloud, right? That's when they're going to let off those nukes. The heavens departed like a scroll when it rolled together. And that's what a mushroom cloud does. It departs like a scroll, rolls together. All right, when you ever see a nuclear bomb go off. So this is what he's talking about. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. So yes, it is described in the Bible. And I think the other scripture is in Revelations chapter 8, I believe, if my memory is working right. I think it's Revelations chapter 8. Let's just quickly go to it. It's around about verse 7 or 8. Start at verse 6. It says, and the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, right? And there followed hell and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, right? So what is that, hail and fire? Those are the missiles, right? The nuclear missiles. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and it was if a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, right? What are they going to die from? Mainly from the pollution, right? From the fallout of these nuclear missiles. And the third part of the ships were destroyed, all right? From these nuclear missiles. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star, right? Intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is parabolic language, right? The great star symbolically represents these missiles from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star, the missile, is called wormwood, right? And wormwood in Russian, it means Chernobyl, bitter. Goes back to the Russian word Chernobyl, where they had the nuclear fallout, right? In Chernobyl. This is what wormwood means in Russia. Chernobyl means wormwood, right? And the third part of the waters became wormwood, bitter, poison, polluted from the fallout. And many men died of the waters because they were what? Made bitter. They were not drinkable. So this is what he's talking about. The stars falling from heaven. This is what he is referring to when he speaks about the book of Revelations and the stars falling from the heavens, right? So let me just go back to Skeletor, right? Go back to Skeletor. All right, let's go back to listen to what he says. Continue what he's saying here. So,
More of a believer in not and right to be close. What you watch with these missile systems is very close to what Christians read in the Bible about the end times and what comes, because they talk about these things coming out of the sky. They talk about the widespread destruction that is caused. Now, I'm more of a believer in not and right now, and I say, okay, where is our direction going? Because everybody has their own connection with their maker, right? So whatever they do, that's up to them. For me, it's between now, the breath you just took while listening to me, and the last breath you take. That's my job. And so I want you and your family to be just as prepared as you can be during these times. Watch these videos. I am in awe.
So he's going to show you the missile strike, right? And we may have another video where I can show you a bit more clearer, but he's going to show you the missile strike.
Just as prepared as you can be during these times. Watch these videos. I am in awe of it. And I don't mean awe like, oh my gosh, that's great. I mean that power that is being displayed. If this was America, we would be done.
Did you hear that? I'm telling you, the spirit is jumping on these Edomites, boy, to say they're speaking some serious truths. It's like they can't help but speak the 100% truth. He said, if this was America, if this hits America, we will be done. That's his words, his exact words. Let me play it back again. Listen to what he says again.
I mean, that power that is being displayed. If this was America, we would be done. We'd be done today. If you saw just...
We would be done today. I gotta play that one more time. I'm telling you, the spirit is jumping on these Edomites, man. I'm telling you, this year, it's like Vladimir Lenin said, right? There are decades when nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happening, right? So we are living in those weeks where decades are happening, boy. And this year is gonna... I can't even say again. I just got to watch and enjoy it. Lord willing, the Lord just protect me, my family, and the rest of the elect children of Israel that are scattered to the four corners of the world. And we are protected from all of this that's coming. But this year, boy, I'm telling you, fire. I'm lost for words. But that's the spirit jumping as Edomite to say that, what he said. We play that again.
America. Don't mean awe like, oh my gosh, that's great. Watch these videos. I am in awe of it. And I don't mean awe like, oh my gosh, that's great. I mean that power that is being displayed. If this was America, we would be done. We'd be done today. If you saw just one of these land in Houston, Texas, Miami, Florida, New York City, even though some people say, well, maybe that'd be okay. Any one of these states across our country, you would have immediate destruction. You'd have the looting start tomorrow. People wouldn't be able to get their groceries tomorrow. People would not be able to keep their family safe tonight. The looting, the predators, the martial law, the information, the internet getting shut down, all of these things would happen within hours. And so that's my biggest concern is what happens if that comes here.
So he's prophesying, doesn't even know, right? So I'm going to come back to him. But I got to give you Second Ezra's because he's just telling you right there. He's just speaking about Second Ezra's chapter 15 without even knowing it. All right? He's speaking clearly Second Ezra's chapter 15 without knowing it. Without knowing that's what he's saying. But let's go straight to the point. This is what he's reading. This is what he's speaking on. He's prophesied in the spirit and he doesn't even know it. I tell you, boy, these are the times. Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. All right? Woe, destruction. It's coming. For the sword and their destruction draws nigh. So what's the main sword? It's going to be those intercontinental ballistic missiles. When Russia fires those same Orishniks and the rest of its arsenal on America, Babylon the Great, which is they will do. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right, it's coming. For there shall be sedition amongst men. So this is what's going to happen in America, Babylon the Great. There's going to be sedition amongst men and invading one another. Exactly what he said. They shall not regard their kings, nor their princes, their leaders, their senators, their congressmen, their mayors, their councillors. You know, they're not going to regard them, the people of authority, when this takes place. Right? Because, you know, there will be a lot of civil unrest before the missiles hit America. So the breakdown in the American society will have been taking place even before they're struck. So it says, they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Right? A man shall desire to do what? To go into a city and shall not be able. That's when martial law is all broken down. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So if the men are going to be afraid, could you imagine the women, right? Men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's exactly what he just said. He just was prophetically speaking about 2 Ezra 15 from verses 15 to 19. That great tribulation is coming. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread. And great tribulation is coming. And that's what he said. So let's go back to it. Listen up, listen up, listen up.
Prepared as you can be during these times. Watch these videos. I am in awe of it. And I don't mean awe like, oh my gosh, that's great. I mean that power that is being displayed. If this was America, we would be done. We'd be done today. If you saw just one of these land in Houston, Texas, Miami, Florida, New York City, even though some people say, well, maybe that'd be okay. Any one of these states across our country, you would have immediate destruction. You'd have the looting start tomorrow. People wouldn't be able to get their groceries tomorrow. People would not be able to keep their family safe tonight. The looting, the predators, the martial law, the information, the internet getting shut down, all of these things would happen within hours.
2 Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy his houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation. Because remember, there's going to be a complete civil breakdown in America first, civil unrest, Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble just doesn't apply to the Israelites. It applies to everyone that's going to be in Babylon the Great. Everyone's going to be affected by Jacob's trouble. The mark of the beast, the microchip, that's going to have to play a major part. So all of this is to come. So he's spot on. He knows. that's why he's called full spectrum survival. He's one of those what do you call them again? Those I forget what they call themselves again. There's a word that they call them, preppers. He's one of those preppers, boy. This brother here, Skeletor.
And so that's my biggest concern is what happens if that comes here?
What happens if those missiles come to Babylon? That's his biggest concern, he said. What happens if those missiles come to Babylon the Great? Get rid of this advert. Yeah, he should be concerned because they are going to come to Babylon. They are going to come.
I'm I'm going to mute it because that wind noise is pretty loud. Looks like they have quite a bit of a snowstorm there. But guys, just look at this. Upper right-hand side of the screen. Absolutely freaking crazy. Now, here's a little bit of information about it. They say the missile range has raised a lot of fears about the strikes that are going to happen. The U.S. Embassy is urging everyone to shelter immediately. Absolutely crazy, folks. When I see this kind of thing, it just reminds me that you have to be so far ahead of what is happening that you and your family can move. Like, you need to not be in whatever area is engaging in this kind of war. And so when we look at what's happening with Portland, Oregon, we look at what's happening with Minnesota, what Mondami is calling for.
Is he got these guys saying get out of town, right? So he's kind of was speaking of that made me think of, is it Jeremiah 51? It says every man and the thumbs come cat. Where is it? Yeah, Jeremiah 51, right? He said then this is exactly what Jeremiah said in the prophecy, right? It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed, which is America. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Just like he said, you need to leave America and let us go everyone into his own country. That's exactly what he said, right? For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even unto the skies. All right. So let me give you, I want to give you, so you can see the missile. I'm going to see this one should be able to show us it here, right? This is the strike they did last night, man. It's absolutely phenomenal, right? Keep your eye on the screen. These are what we call MIRVs, the Orishnik. They have multiple, what do they call it? MIRVs, multiple intermediate re-entry vehicles, right? Because they've got multiple warheads on the one missile, and they're going to show you it much more clearly in this, right? So keep your eye. See, they're showing you all the places that the missile hit. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that came off of one missile because it carries multiple warheads, and it travels at 13,000 miles per hour, kilometers an hour, which is about 9,000 miles per hour. That's the speed, twice the speed. They say twice, 10 times the speed of sound, something like that. It travels at.
Кроме того, разворачивается серийное производство новейшего ракетного.
They said mass production. He said
Кроме того.
Moreover, mass production of the latest, all right? So this is Putin speaking to his men, all right?
Разворачивается серийное производство новейшего ракетного комплекса средней дальности Орешник.
Orishnik medium-range missile systems. That's what we just witnessed.
Который
is underway and which has proven itself on the battlefield, and it has.
Очень себя хорошо зарекомендовал в боевых условиях.
And is very well in combat conditions.
В состав военно-морского флота войдут новые корабли
and the Navy will have new ships and
подводные лодки, оснащенные высокоточными средствами
submarines equipped with these high-precision weapons.
Поражения последнего поколения.
И на мою страну.
This is the president of Belarus, the country next door to Russia. This is one of the coalitions that Russia will come with to come up against America, all right? It says in Volgograd, we agreed with our elder, and who the elder is? Vladimir Putin, right? Russia, he's talking about.
Я как президент за это отвечаю, главнокомандующий.
Russian President Vladimir.
Не хочу, чтобы как раньше кто-то нападал.
Vladimirovich Putin, that the first
И представителям Соединенных Штатов Америки
Orishnik positions will be in Belarus.
Прямо в лоб дословно сказал.
You've seen the work of the Orishnik, right? Yeah, we've seen it, my brother.
Ядерное оружие, где надо, оно тихо, спокойно существует.
These are the same missiles, the same strikes. They're phenomenal. Believe they're phenomenal, those missiles.
Охраняется, как положено в мире. Но упаси вас Господь.
But without a nuclear component, right? Because you can use them without having to load with nuclear warheads, but you can load them up with nuclear warheads.
Ступить на нашу землю без нашего
Without radioactive contamination,
ведома. Упаси вас Господь. Ответ будет мгновенный.
the land and air by the end of the year, right? So those missiles are already in Belarus.
Молниеносный и этим самым оружием, которого вы больше всего боитесь. Понимаете?
This weapon will be placed in Belarus, all right? And they were shipped there last month. Because he's speaking about, this speech was made last year. He was speaking about the end of 2025, and they have arrived.
Понимаю.
With its cutting-edge technology, the Oreshnik poses a direct challenge to existing missile defense systems, raising the stakes in an increasingly tense geopolitical climate. The missile's design marks a leap forward in missile technology. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles, which follow predictable trajectories, the Oreshnik employs independent post-boost vehicles, IPBVs, allowing it to evade air defenses and maneuver mid-flight.
So that's what you saw. When you saw it strike 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it had 5 warheads on it. So that when the missile arrives, you can load it up with, I think, up to 12 warheads, so you can hit 12 targets, separate targets, all at the same time. And remember, it's traveling at a speed of 13,000 kilometers per hour. Whew.
This makes it highly effective against current defense systems. The missile achieves speeds up to Mach 12 and can carry up to 6 hypersonic glide vehicles, each with submunitions designed to penetrate even the most fortified defenses. The missile is capable of striking targets up to 4,000 kilometers away, making it a powerful tool for both regional deterrence and strategic strikes. The Oreshnik's range and rapid deployment times have redefined expectations for modern missile warfare. In the Middle East, it can strike strategic locations like Kuwait, Bahrain, and Qatar in as little as 11 to 13 minutes.
Where is that? That's the valley of the Jehoshaphat,
Bahrain
right?
and Qatar.
That's the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's part of the Levant. That's where the war of Armageddon is going to take place, in the Middle East, all right? In the Levant, Mesopotamia.
In as little as 11 to 13 minutes. In the Pacific, it can hit Alaska in 12 minutes, Guam in 22 minutes, and Pearl Harbor in 25 minutes. Perhaps most concerning for the United States is its ability to target key military sites, including nuclear missile silos in Montana and North Dakota, in just 23 and 24 minutes, respectively.
In just 23 and 24 minutes. What did the Bible say? For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. 23, 24 minutes takes to reach there. Now you understand what the Bible says. In 1 hour, so Revelations 18, we'll just quickly bring it up. Revelations 18. It's all happening, boy. And it says here, where is it? Burning in one day, coming one day, death. Yeah, here it is. I want to go straight to the point. It says here, start at verse 9. It says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her, Babylon the Great, will bewail her and lament for her, right, when they see the smoke of her burning from those nuclear missile strikes. All right, it's going to be a world event, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon, which is the United States of America, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. 1 hour it's going to take to destroy America. So you got to understand the anesthetics of all of this. This is why I'm telling you. It says it takes 23 minutes to reach Montana and 24 to reach North Dakota, and that's where America's nuclear bases are in the United States. Yeah, because they have some abroad in Europe, and they've obviously got their nuclear submarines that are always in the ocean that no one knows where each other's submarines are at any given time. But there you go.
Effectively. These capabilities underscore the missile's potential to undermine America's strategic defense posture. Russian officials have framed the Oreshnik as a direct response to NATO's expansion and what they perceive as the increasing military presence of the United States near their borders. Senior defense officials have described the missile as a statement of Russia's ability to respond decisively to any threat, signaling that Moscow is prepared to defend its interests with force if necessary. This missile is part of a broader strategy to assert Russia's power and deter potential adversaries. The missile's advanced capabilities have raised serious questions about the effectiveness of current missile defense systems. With its speed and maneuverability, the Oreshnik can bypass established defense systems like THAAD, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, and the US space-based infrared system, SBIRS, which were designed to intercept traditional ballistic missiles. This vulnerability has led experts to call for rapid advancements in missile defense technology to keep pace with emerging threats. The deployment of the Oreshnik has sent shockwaves through global security circles, with analysts warning that its introduction could spark a new arms race. Nations may now feel compelled to accelerate their investments in hypersonic technology and missile defense systems to counter the growing threat posed by Russia's advances. The missile's ability to neutralize complex air defense networks also opens the door to future strikes with minimal resistance, potentially changing the dynamics of global conflict. The Oreshnik missile reflects a strategic shift in Russia's approach to warfare. Drawing on design elements from the Bulava missile program, it introduces new features that make it more adaptable and versatile. Its modular payload system and compact design allow it to target multiple types of high-value targets with unprecedented precision. Russia's development of such a weapon represents a significant step forward in missile technology, positioning the Oreshnik as a cornerstone of the country's military strategy. As global tensions continue to rise, the Oreshnik missile serves as a reminder that the future of warfare is being defined by new technologies that challenge existing defense systems. Its introduction forces both NATO and rival powers to reconsider their military strategies and invest in new solutions to counter emerging threats. With the missile's unprecedented speed, precision, and maneuverability, the Oreshnik has the potential to reshape global military dynamics for years to come.
So, you heard what he said, right? They have to rethink their whole war strategy, right? On how they're going to go about defending against these type of weapons of war that the Russians possess now and are using in the battlefield in Ukraine, which they used again last night, all right? Took out some major targets in Lviv, which is on the west of Ukraine, right? Which is like 2,000 kilometers away from the actual battlefield. They wiped out some major targets. So he said, he heard what he said. It's gonna cause these Western leaders to have to up their game and their research and development in trying to build a defense system, because they don't have a defense system that can defend against these missiles, the Oreshnik, right? And these hypersonic missiles. They have to now put together some type of plan, R&D, research and development, to create some type of new missile defense system to try to protect them against this. So then check this out. This is what I saw yesterday, all right? They're going all out. This is it here. Military budget, right? So you can see it, right? Military budget. He says here, this is Donald J. Trump. This is Emperor Nero. He says, after the long and difficult negotiations with senators, congressmen, secretaries, and other political representatives, I have determined that for the good of our country, especially in these very troubled and dangerous times, our military budget for the year 2027 should not be $1 trillion, right? But what? But rather $1.5 trillion. This whole world, the Most High, Yahweh Shai, has got the angels putting all of these nations into the spirit of war. Because this is where it's all heading. So he wants to increase the US military budget, right, for 2027 by 50% to $1.5 trillion. Why would he be doing that? Because they're all getting ready for World War III. It said this will allow us to build the dream military that we have long been entitled to, and more importantly, that we will keep us safe and secure regardless of the foe, because they know the main foes are Russia and China. If it weren't for the tremendous numbers being produced by tariffs from other countries, many of which in the past have ripped off the United States at levels never seen before, I would stay at the $1 trillion number. But because of tariffs and the tremendous income that they bring, amounts being generated that would have been unthinkable in the past, especially just the 1 year ago during the sleepy Joe Biden administration, the worst president in the history of our country, we are able to easily hit the $1.5 trillion number, while at the same time producing an unparalleled military force and having the ability to, at the same time, pay down the debt. You can't pay no debt. You can't pay down, because all you're paying down right now is interest. And right now your interest is it $3 trillion a year on your debt? The interest, I believe it is. So you're never going to pay off that debt. All right? So anyway, this is why the collapse is coming. And likewise, pay a substantial dividend to moderate income patriots within our country. So Donald J. Trump wants to increase the military budget to $1.5 trillion. Why? Because everyone's getting ready for war. For war, for war, for war. And then if we go here, this guy here is Gutner Furlinger. He's the Austrian politician and the chairman of Austria's NATO Enlargement Committee, right? Now listen to what he says here, all right? Listen up, listen up, listen up. Hold on. Have I got it on yet?
And now he wants to take it. Of course he cannot take it. And I say, if you take it, we take every single base of the Americans, from Aviano to Ramstein, from Romania to all the other military bases, will be confiscated and you will lose it. If you take Greenland, you have to leave. It's very simple, Mrs. Miller. This is the leverage we have. You need these bases for global power projection. You won't have it. And we can defend ourselves very well, and we will do that without the US nuclear shield, without the US troops in Europe, without the American bases. We will simply run these bases ourselves, and we run your boys home into Chicago, and Ohio, and goodbye. And now he wants to take it. Of course he cannot take it.
Yeah, so you hear that? He said, look, you want to take it, you can take it, but this is what's going to happen. We're going to take back all the US bases in Europe. We're going to break the treaty with America, and we're going to send all your boys back to Chicago. All right. And he's a senator in Austria, and he is the chairman of Austria's NATO Enlargement Committee. All right. So they're saying that they're going to take back all of the US bases and expel America from Europe, basically, because at that point there will be no NATO treaty between America and NATO. And that goes back to what we, when we keep telling you how they where is it? In Revelations 17, as we keep telling you, this is what's happening. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns, which is the European Union, which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America, Babylon the Great, right? And as you can see, openly, right? That hatred is now being openly played in a public theater, and shall make her desolate, because ultimately these European nations are going to go to war against America, right? And will fire their missiles against America, all right? In World War III. And will make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. right? So it's going to eat her flesh and burn her with fire. What fire is that? How's it going to eat the flesh of America? By firing nuclear missiles on Babylon the Great. Now, there's only 2 European countries that possess nuclear weapons. That's France and the United Kingdom. So you can see where this is all going. The 10 Horns is openly telling the whore that if they take Greenland by force, then we're gonna expel you from every US base in Europe, right? And the NATO treaty will be finished. So now these politicians are openly telling you this now. Where is it? It was here. No, it was here. So they're openly telling you this. All right?
And now he wants to take it. Of course he cannot take it. And I say, if you take it, we take every single base of the Americans from Aviano to Ramstein, from Romania to all the other military bases will be confiscated and you will lose it. If you take Greenland, you have to leave. It's very simple, Mrs. Miller. This is the leverage we have. You need these bases for global power protection. You won't have it. And we can defend ourselves very well. And we will do that without the US nuclear shield, without the US troops in Europe, without the American bases. We will simply run these bases ourselves, and we run your boys home into Chicago, and Ohio. And goodbye. And now.
And goodbye. Bye bye, love. So, and ultimately, this is America's end, right? This is America's end, ultimately. All right, so let's just play this.
Of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All nations, kings of the earth, merchants grown rich through her abundance. No other nation's fall would cause merchants worldwide to mourn in 1 hour. Only America fits that description. But here's what makes this even more striking. And this connects directly to reason number 2. It's not just about money. Reason number 2, cultural export power. Babylon is described as intoxicating the nations. Revelation 17:2. With whom
He's showing you, right? We already know you that this scholar showing you how he knows America is the Babylon in the Bible, in Jeremiah 50 and 51 and Revelation 17 and 18 that the Bible speaks of. He knows, this scholar knows that it's talking about the United States of America. And only a true scholar would know that, can understand that. It's prophetic and it's talking about America.
the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. The inhabitants of the earth, drunk, intoxicated by her influence. Look at what America exports to the world. Entertainment, music, movies, television, social media, fashion, ideology, and values. American culture saturates the globe. People in remote villages know American celebrities. American trends shape behavior worldwide. No other nation has ever exported its culture with such overwhelming force. The nations are drunk with American influence. But here's what's truly chilling. It's not just that America influences the world. It's America's attitude about that influence. Reason number 3, luxury and excess. Revelation describes Babylon's attitude. Revelation 18:7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. I sit as a queen, I shall see no sorrow. Pride, luxury, self-confidence, the assumption that nothing can bring her down. This mirrors American exceptionalism, the belief that America is unique, untouchable, destined to remain dominant. We're the greatest nation on earth. Nothing can stop us. That's the attitude Revelation describes. And here's what makes this ominous. Pride in Scripture is always followed by something. Always. Reason number 4. Sudden destruction. The language of Babylon's destruction is striking. In 1 hour. Revelation 18:17. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. 1 hour. Not gradual decline, not slow decay. Sudden, catastrophic collapse. What could destroy a nation in 1 hour? Nuclear strike, electromagnetic pulse, coordinated cyber attack, financial system collapse. America is uniquely vulnerable to sudden destruction precisely because of how interconnected its systems are. One catastrophic event could cascade through the entire infrastructure in 1 hour. But here's what seals this interpretation for many scholars. Look at where this destruction happens. Reason number 5. Geographic clues. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Yeah, so these, like I said, certain scholars do know that America is Babylon the Great, the Babylon of the Bible, that's being prophesied to be destroyed in the end times. We know the thing that must come before the destruction is the mark of the beast, which is the microchip. We're just as right about America's destruction. We are just as right about America's destruction as we are right about the mark of the beast being the microchip. All right, one hand will feed into the other. So I'm going to leave it there. I pray you're edified, as always. All praises and glory to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, and to his only begotten Son, whose name is Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone. As always, shalom to you. Shalom to the hopefully elect brothers and sisters of the house of Israel. As the Bible says, many are called, few are chosen. The chosen are the elect of the true children of Israel that are scattered to the four corners of the world. The Israelites will look like all of the nations, right? Don't forget that. We are scattered amongst the nations, but the Lord is only coming for his elect. And through his elect, he's going to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. The world is not coming to an end. It's the rulership. America's coming to an end. Total destruction. Israel will be destroyed by fire, but Israel will be rebuilt up again because Israel has to be purified because it's an abomination to the Most High. So it's a new rulership that's coming. The world is not coming to an end, family. Shalom.